We are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the Geekcentric Podcast. My name is Kevin, and in today's episode, we discuss the biggest news to come out of last weekend's Comic-Con at home. And then we take the gloves off for a round of Movie Kombat that isn't just out of this world, it's out of this galaxy. But first, if you're joining us for the first time, this is a weekly show covering the world of film, television, gaming, toys, and collectibles, and all things geek-centric. Joining me on the show, we have the jacked up jouster himself, J-Law.
Yo, yo.
And to his left, my right, we have the neurological nunchuck, Nate.
Whoa! I don't think I've ever been a neurological anything. That's amazing.
We're running out of these adjectives and words, boys. It's getting tougher and tougher every week. Okay, well, on that note, gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good. Doing well.
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Not too bad. I mean, we're all still pretty much in full lockdown up here. So lots of time probably to watch and play things between work and whatnot. So, Nate, why don't we just get right into it? We'll start with you. What you been up to?
So, I honestly can only think of three things. But I got, I want to talk about them a little bit more in depth. I've been trying to catch up on the Apple TV Plus bandwagon. Because it's been a while since I finished Modern Family, cried all my tears and laughed all my laughs, and it was great. I thought the ending was really good, but I needed I need something else. You need another show. So I hopped into Central Park on Apple TV Plus. Justin, you said you've watched it, right?
Yeah, I've watched 2 episodes of it. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's by the same team that does Bob's Burgers. One of the cool things about it, though, is the music is absolutely phenomenal. It makes me feel like if COVID wasn't happening, that this could be a New York Broadway musical. Like, that's how good the music is. Did you find that?
Yeah, no, I actually thought the same thing. I think the music is actually very, very on point. It feels very satirical musical, right? Like yes. More like the Simpsons musical versus like a Disney musical.
Yeah. Or kind of like Kevin, you mentioned like the Book of Mormon on a previous podcast.
Yep. Yeah.
It's kind of like that idea, right? But there's a lot of singing. Every single voice actor on the show is phenomenal voice. Josh Gad, even to the point where I don't normally like his singing style, but he's great. I will say the story is a little less interesting than the musical moments, so it's good to have the music to sort of pad out some of the dips in the story, because I don't know. I find, for me at least, I've watched the whole season, and the comedy does get better as it progresses, but you need to be there for the music. You can't just be watching it for the laughs, because I honestly don't think it's as funny as something like Bob's Burgers.
Interesting, but you did mention that it's obviously not like an adult sort of themed musical, but I do notice that it's 14A. So, like you said, Justin, it would lean more towards your Simpsons sort of style cheeky song versus like a Disney very safe musical, right?
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're not going full, Family Guy or crazy even raunchiness or anything with it.
Big Mouth, I think, has had some pretty salacious numbers.
Yeah, nothing that far. So yeah, definitely check out Central Park. It's worth a watch for season 1. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with season 2 and the recasting. So I think that'll be. We talked about that on a previous episode with what was her name?
Kristen Bell.
Was it Kristen Bell? Yes.
Kristen Bell.
They've cast
is going to be.
They've actually.
Oh, really?
The role. Yeah.
Do we know who it is?
It's the Hamilton star. She's from Hamilton. Emmy Raver Lampman.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
Well, so that'll certainly keep up the quality of the voice work for you there.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely the intent, though, right? Like the idea behind the show is to cast people that do have more of a musical theater background, right?
Yeah, give it a watch. It's a lot of fun. Apple TV Plus. Another one that, speaking of music, Apple TV Plus, Little Voice. So this is actually on Apple TV Plus. It's from J.J. Abrams and Sarah Bareilles, with music written by Sarah Bareilles. It's hard to say. This show surprised me. So it's a love letter to sort of the musicality of New York City, and it explores the journey of this girl as she like finds her voice in her early 20s. And it does a really good job of sort of representing what it's like to be nervous and what it's like to feel judged. And it's, of course, there's like a love triangle drama. It centers around this girl named Bess. And I think she does a really, really good job. She's a fantastic singer, which is the only thing that is part of the show. Like, besides all like the cheesy sort of campy, almost Hallmark or Lifetime movie dialogue at times, the biggest thing that sort of takes me out of the show sometimes is how good she is at singing, because it's kind of hard to believe that, like, she could get nervous, but I don't know, she does a really good job, and the songs are really, really fantastic. I don't know if you're into Sarah Bareilles Ellis music, but it's really good. Have you guys seen anything from this? It's I think J.J. Abrams actually produced it. Have you guys watched any of this?
I have not even heard of this one, so
yeah.
I remember hearing about it when they announced Apple TV.
Yes, she came on stage with him.
Yes, and obviously J.J. Abrams being attached to it. I guess it's worth checking out for sure. It's not necessarily the type of J.J. Abrams stuff that I enjoy.
Right.
But
yeah, that seems very out of his typical wheelhouse.
You can tell it's his style, and it's very much a Bad Robot production. Like, it has that value, that sort of Apple TV Bad Robot production value. And then from a writing perspective, it does leave you with every episode on a cliffhanger. Like, it does that J.J. Abrams thing where you're just like, like, whoa, like, okay, I have to watch the next episode. So I actually blasted through it. It's only about 30 minutes per episode. So they're short, sort of little bursts of this story. But, dude, like, I know it's not hard to make me cry, but there's some really touching moments in this thing.
I actually, I think you just need to focus on, like, you know what? This didn't make me cry. I think that's the far
Wait,
more
as a positive
impressive. That's the far more impressive thing now.
Now, I did shed tears of joy playing Ghost of Tsushima, and that's really what's dominated the majority of my time.
Yeah, how is it?
Oh my gosh, Kevin, it's so gorgeous. It's a little jarring going from Last of Us 2 to this game, because this game is very video gamey, if that makes sense, where Last of Us is very cinematic. This game is like, with the jankiness that comes with like an open world, open combat style game, there's definitely, you can really see the flaws, where a character's like, he'll fall over and then he'll like glitch and fall through the wall, or you'll see like, part of the main character's sword go through the back of his cape, things like that sort of take you out of it from the epicness. But when it has those moments where you're just riding through a field of flowers and the music is swelling and you jump off your horse and you do this like insane attack onto a guy, and then it has some really, really fantastic combat moments that just make it so good. It's so good.
How far along would you say you are into it?
So that's kind of a good question. I think I'm 50% of the way through, which is about 18 hours. Keeping in mind that I'm doing a ton of collectibles. I'm doing a ton of the side missions, because that's the other thing I wanted to kind of mention about this game. It's very much like Spider-Man in the sense that it doesn't overwhelm you with side missions and collectibles on the map. It does this really good thing from a pacing perspective, where it as you progress through the main storyline, it opens up more opportunities and different types of side missions as you go along. So from a pacing perspective, I do want to get all the missions done. I do want to collect all the things and do all the side mission things, because they're so accessible and they're so easy to sort of clear out that little area and then move on. So the way that it's structured, I love it so much more than what it's being compared to, which is Assassin's Creed, like Odyssey or Origins. And I honestly think it's just so much better than that from a pacing perspective. And then from a story perspective, it's getting better as it goes along. It's a little bit tough to go from something like The Last of Us, again, I'm going to keep bringing it up, but like The Last of Us, to this ancient Japan story, because they do try to stay very authentic to the world of Tsushima, Japan, and the Mongol invasion. And so because they're staying so historic, it is a little bit difficult, obviously, just because we're in 2020. It's tough to sort of relate to some of the situations that are going on and with war and stuff. But there are a lot of moments, and very subtle moments, where characters will just, they'll tell you about their story, or something will be revealed, and they won't even say it outright, but you'll just know, oh my gosh, like, that's heavy. That character was, enslaved. They were molested. They were abused. And they don't straight up say it, but they do it, very much in a very Japanese way of speaking culturally, where they sort of subtly just tell you without telling you. And it's honestly, I can't stop thinking about this game. And that means it's a good game. Like, I don't know. Do you guys find that where like you'll be playing a game and like all you want to do is just go back to playing that game?
Oh yeah. It doesn't. That doesn't happen very often. But I do tend to pick games that do have a reputation for being good, right? Because I play so few, and so right. I do generally find that where you're just like, man, I would much rather be sitting there with a controller in my hand right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you guys like Spider-Man, you have to play Ghost of Tsushima. That's just straight up it.
Well, you're killing me. My list is getting longer and longer of things I have to try.
For sure. But that was my watcha.
Awesome. Well, Just, why don't we hear about your last week or so? What you been up to?
Really, not much. It's actually been fairly boring. I finished the X-Men series of films. Like I watched, I think when we chatted I had watched First Class, but I hadn't finished the rest of them, so I did that. Man, Old Man Logan, such a good movie. It's like probably the best Wolverine movie. And like it's crazy how like Origin was garbage, and then the Wolverine was okay, and then Old Man Logan was just like, that was it. You know what I mean? Like that was the movie of Wolverine, the best movie of his. X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past, like that combo of those two movies are unbelievable. Yeah. And then you get into Apocalypse.
The junk.
And it was, you know what, like there's parts that I liked. It's just when it went to the stereotypical end battle with the big baddie and the invasion and everything is destruction, and it's just when it shifted into that mode that it just felt very cookie cutter. And then Dark Phoenix was just awful. I feel like they had a lot of problems with that, and I think that's been well known about that production, is that it was there were some problems and some reshoots and a lot of things, and it shows. It definitely shows in the movie.
I forgot that movie existed.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was just so underwhelming. Seen that one. Yeah, it was so underwhelming. Like I just like, it was boring, so boring. But after that, I actually dived into X-Men the Animated Series from the early 90s. So now I'm watching that now. I have that playing when I'm like doing work and stuff like that, or like just, from, if it's not essential, but like I've zoned in on a few episodes. Like they did their own Days of Future Past, which was, very much involved Bishop rather than, this idea of the Sentinels and trying to change the course, but like it had that same sort of concept to it. And there's obviously different iterations, but like there's things that you could see in like season 1, like inspiration for the first movie and maybe even the second movie. Again, it's coming from comic history, if you will, so it's kind of probably all connected in some way. But I think you guys remember in the first episode of X-Men, it was like Jubilee was on the run and stuff like that. Well, in the movie it was Rogue. It's very much the same thing, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool to just, watch some retro cartoons. I might get back into watching Spider-Man after this. Like there is so much new stuff, but I'm just, I don't know. It's feeling like nostalgic and watching like things that with, fresh eyes, you know what I mean? Like a different perspective. Because when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily catch everything. But yeah, it's fun. And that's pretty much it. Other than that's it. I have nothing.
Well,
else.
now that I've told you to watch Little Voice, I can't wait to hear what you think of every single episode of that. So
I'm running out to see that one. Yeah, that's queued up and ready to go. Kev, what have you been up to?
I've been a little busier than you guys. It sounds like I finished up Ozark, so finished the third season.
How'd you think of, like, don't spoil it obviously for people, but
how'd
like
you think of that
very
ending?
last moment?
Oh yeah, it was so satisfying. That was so great.
And like, did you see it coming?
Deep. I kind of had a feeling.
I didn't.
Only because I, had the benefit, or, maybe the opposite of the benefit of knowing that, there was a 4th season coming. Right? They had made that announcement and everything like that. Like, I'm sure if you were watching it and had no clue whether this was going to be it or whatever, you might, have some doubts and some worries about some of the characters and whatnot. But
it was all there. I don't believe anyone that says that, like, oh yeah, like I was like totally tense. Like, you knew as soon as
I honestly, I took it as such a blow to the head. Like, it was honestly for me.
But I honestly think it's better than Breaking Bad. I think it's better than Breaking Bad personally. Okay. So I'm enjoying it more. Maybe it's tough to say what's better, but I like the characters and the story more than I was ever invested in the characters or the story in Breaking Bad. Not to say that it wasn't good, but
the acting is really good. But I also like the idea, like, I think you said it best last episode. It's like Jason Bateman's straight man, in this sort of drug world.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. He had me laughing out loud once or twice an episode for the last season and a half. Once they really found the tone of his character, it was quite good. So, speaking of shows with an interesting tone that I certainly wasn't expecting, I started Killing Eve.
Wow.
Yeah, and that one is far quirkier than I expected, for given what it was about. I mean, I didn't know too much about it going in, but I'm only about 6 episodes into the first season, but almost pleasantly surprised that the tone is. It's nice that it's actually a bit lighter than, say, something like Ozark, where it was very heavy every episode. This one has, even though it's dealing with assassins and stuff like that, it's got a very quirky tone to it that makes it very fun. And Sandra Oh's really, really great, and the main villain Villeneuve is she's wonderful in it. So she's definitely worth watching the show for alone. So yeah, just Sarah just kept bugging me to watch this show, and so I finally said, you know what, fine, I'll throw it on and see what I thought. Right. We watched the little mini series Unsolved Mysteries. That show, the theme from back in my childhood just haunted me as a kid, and Sarah loves her murder mysteries and everything like that. So we watched a little Netflix revival of Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, I was going to say, was it the original 1987 one?
We watched the new one. That's cool. Man, that was just very meh.
Oh,
and the validity of a show is ruined for me when, like, it's like, now we're going to do the Alien episode. It's like, oh God, no. Do you want my help in solving that mystery?
For sure.
And then what else here? Oh, I finished Last of Us.
Oh,
yeah, so I beat that. You know what? Like, I really, really got into the game. I really enjoyed it. I thought the ending was a bit flat.
Okay,
like there wasn't this sort of big, epic sort of finish to it, And I thought it was very strange that out of the last, like, 3 main stages or so, 6 levels, you only see the infected like once. Most of the time you're just dealing with the human characters and whatnot, and there was no like big epic last level or boss or anything like that, so that was just a little different.
For sure, yeah.
So I was like, but I definitely will be playing the second one. I'm not sure when. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week, but it'll probably be soon.
It could be next year.
And I'm gonna be terrified. I have a feeling I'm gonna regret going, well, where were all the infected at the end of this game? So
yeah, dude, they all show up.
So that should be fun. But no, I really enjoyed that game.
Can I ask you a quick question about the ending there?
Yeah.
So spoilers for the ending of The Last of Us. Skip ahead for a couple of seconds if you haven't played it. Do you think that Joel was right? Like, do you think he made the right decision in what he did?
I mean, what was the point of getting her there if it wasn't to find the cure? And, like, I mean, sacrifices are going to have to be made if the world is going to get back on its... You know what I mean? So I'll be interested to see where him lying to her goes in the second game here.
Oh, yeah.
Because something tells me they won't be happy with each other. So, Because, I mean, I've done my best to avoid literally anything about the game other than seeing, like, shots of gameplay. That's really all I know about it, so...
Good. Stay off the internet.
Yeah.
Literally, Kevin, don't Google don't YouTube anything, because literally if you YouTube the words "the last," you'll see the most, like, one of the bigger spoilers in the game.
Which I think already got spoiled for me from our YouTube video there.
Oh, true.
Right.
True.
So,
okay.
But I don't let that sort of thing bug me or my enjoyment of something.
Talking about that spoiler, I didn't think of that was really like spoil. I think we knew. I guess yes, it's a spoiler for people, but. Like I think
there were so many rumors. I don't even play the games, and I'd heard rumors of that for months leading up to the release. Right
before the game even came out, there were rumors circulating.
But we'll avoid saying anything though, as it is still considered a spoiler. Yeah. But yeah, we all know what we're talking about, and anybody in the know knows what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And then I look forward to talking about maybe The Last of Us 2 over Watcha in the upcoming weeks and months, but we'll see.
Me too.
And then one last thing. So I had seen clips of it and whatever, and just decided I was going to watch it. The One Zoom to Rule Them All, Reunited Apart. So where Josh Gad hosted a reunion of all the Lord of the Rings characters. And it's about an hour long. And they just randomly pop in over the time, and you've got Jonathan Rhys-Davies wearing his friggin' helmet and stuff like that.
Really?
It was a lot of fun. I didn't expect to I saw like a 5-minute clip, and I was like, well, I guess I'm watching the whole thing now.
Wow.
And then all that did was make me go and start watching Lord of the Rings. So I got through 2 Towers today. So
that's awesome.
Are you doing the extended?
You know what?
Or?
I thought they were the extended on Netflix, but I guess they're not.
No.
So no.
Okay.
No. So yeah.
Okay.
So I only watched 6 hours of Lord of the Rings over the last couple days. Not 8.
The worst.
Now the question is, once I do Return of the King, will I have had my fix, or am I going to go,
you will.
throw
You
the
will.
Hobbit on in the background? We'll see. I haven't seen them since the theater, so I don't know. Yeah, I know.
You'll probably just
bad.
enjoy them better in your memories.
They're not bad.
No, they're the first one's okay, and then don't watch it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, but no, I watch Lord of the Rings every couple years, so this is probably my 7th time, 8th time watching them. Right. So
cool.
Any excuse to put it on, I'll do it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for Watcha. Other than sports are back, baby. Sports are back.
Yeah.
Blue Jays off to a good start so far this season. The Leafs play their first playoff game on Sunday. So
weren't they in a game last night that
won?
That
was just an exhibition game, just to sort of get the guys back on the ice in a game environment. But they looked all right. So, hopefully get some rust off and ready to go on Sunday, 8:00. Let's go.
Are you?
So that's exciting. There was a time where it didn't look likely that we were going to get any sports this year, and other than a few setbacks with teams like the Miami Marlins doing things they shouldn't be doing and breaking sort of protocols and everything, people seem to be taking it seriously. And I love on the Blue Jays, after a home run, they like to high five everybody. And so the gentleman came into the dugout and was doing high fives, and then a player followed him with a bottle of sanitizer, and everybody sanitized after they high fived him. So
that's awesome.
Having fun with it and everything. So it's a lot of fun.
Was it weird watching these games without audiences?
It is a little strange. It's hard to get as excited about a home run or anything like that, but they pump in the sounds and try.
Do they do the canned audio and stuff?
Oh yeah, they've got the canned audio and everything like that. So
I watched it.
I want them to mess up one day and just accidentally get like the laugh track from like Family Matters or something.
Sure. That's awesome. Well, I did like it. The Jays were playing each other in an exhibition game, and I guess the home they were practicing on doing all the sounds from the booth. And so one of the Blue Jays pitcher pitched in a little too close on one of the Blue Jays hitters. It's just a fun exhibition, and they still put in the booze that you would get normally. So, there's been actually quite a few like fun little moments in the midst of everything coming back. So
that's cool. That's
cool.
It's good to hear.
But I believe that is it. So why don't we move into a sort of special edition of our news and trailer segment?
It's all about the details.
All right, so moving on to news and trailers, I thought it would be fun to take a look at some of the biggest news to come out of this year's very unique Comic-Con. With everything going on, obviously the event couldn't take place live from San Diego with tens of thousands of people in attendance, so they hosted Comic-Con from home. It was free for anyone that was interested to watch panels, access new trailers for movies and TV, etc. Guys, did you have a chance to check this out at all?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. I saw it on IGN.
There was quite a bit of news. Season 10 of Walking Dead, Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead, and a new spin-off scheduled to have 2 seasons were all sort of hyped up. Season 3 of The Boys was announced ahead of Season 2 premiere in a month or so. We also got some new footage from Season 2, which looks like they are just upping the antes on the craziness and zaniness. So if you have a weak stomach, that might not be the best show for you. There were some early animations, actually, from Rick and Morty Season 5, kind of teasing a new villain that we might be getting for Rick in that season.
Looked good.
Jurassic World 3 will apparently feature more animatronics than any previous installment in the franchise. So,
that's cool.
As a fan of practical effects, I always like to hear that news. Apparently, there's going to be about 100 different Star Trek shows on the air at once at this rate.
There were how many? What were all the different ones? I know there's 2 animated ones, and then 3 spin-offs.
Right, and a prequel based on a show that's already only in its second season. I don't know. I mean, I don't really follow the Star Trek stuff, but I was like, man, that's a lot of content. We thought Star Wars was pumping out stuff.
Was Discovery that popular that they are like, let's do it? Let's open up a floodgate?
Picard is really popular.
Picard did really well for them, yeah.
Wow.
So, interesting. I think personally, the most enjoyable panel that I watched was with the cast of What We Do in the Shadows. So just a fun little sharing of stories from on the set from the cast and stuff. So that was really the only panel that I was like, oh yeah, I would have gone to a hall to watch that one specifically. Mm-hmm. Because it was a little odd to not have any real big news from Marvel. I mean, they I'm not even sure if it was part of the event or if the news just sort of happened to come out around the same time that they've sort of showed their new pushed back schedule for a lot of the movies.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then nothing really big from Disney other than we are delaying all of the releases of our movies, right? It was a lot of anti-news.
They're saving all that stuff. They're saving all that stuff for D23, right?
Yes, that's true too. And then obviously releases our butts in the seats, right? So
yeah, D23 from home streaming on Disney Plus. Come on.
Yeah,
you get so many more people jumping on the streaming thing.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, you could get some subs from that for sure. And then I think obviously the big trailer release was I guess Bill and Ted.
The full trailer. Yeah.
And now Nate, I bet you haven't seen either of the first two.
It was Bill and Ted was the one. Is that with Neo?
Yeah,
that is with Neo. Yes.
Dude, honestly, I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks lame. But again, granted, I
haven't seen them.
Come at me with your pitchforks.
I mean, I got to be honest. The first one is getting a bit old and looks a little dated.
Right.
But it's also probably still one of the most enjoyable time travel movies you'll ever see.
Really?
It is such a fun concept and such a fun premise. And while the two characters are so stupid, it almost screams like a predecessor to Dude, Where's My Car? But they're lovable losers. You really root for these guys. And again, the two adventures they go on, because the second one, given that they had to change up the formula to keep it fresh for a sequel, takes it in a whole different direction, but keeps it fun as well. So, I mean, if you're looking for some nostalgic comedies, I would certainly go out of my way to check those out so that you're on board for the new one in September.
Do you think that this new one is going to be more in line with Dumb and Dumberer than it is going to actually be? Do you think it's actually going to be good is what I'm trying to say?
You know what? I had my doubts until I saw the trailer, and it looks like they're almost taking the idea of what happened in the first one to Bill and Ted, and their daughters are going to be going on that adventure. Right. And okay. I think it does kind of look fun. Again, as a big fan of the original too, so I'm looking forward to it. It's and it's basically the only new movie we're getting in the next few months. So you got to get excited about something.
Crazy to me that they're doing both streaming and a theater release. Like, how is that the only movie that has figured this out? Like,
right?
You know what I mean?
I mean, do they maybe just not really care what the box office revenue is? Maybe, you know, they're volunteering to sort of be a trial run movie to see how it does go, and then hope that they can make up for it on you know, on demand rentals and stuff like that. Because I would actually be curious to see how like something like King of Staten Island did in terms of its rentals, right?
Right.
You know, considering they're charging $20 a rental for it, you know, I'm sure they made a decent amount of money. So,
but it's like, why couldn't New Mutants figure this out? You know what I mean? Like, so I got to catch
the movie needs to get out and just get out and get it over with.
Just do it.
I think this was the third Comic-Con now that they've had footage and a panel. And, you know.
And that, honestly, the cast, like I caught that panel and they're so lovely. They're such a wonderful group of young actors and actresses that are just like, they're killing it. And they start off with that panel and they're like, okay, well, we've got a special treat for you. We're going to show an extended trailer. And they show this trailer and it starts off kind of going down the creepy hallway and it shows each date. And it's playing like the "We Don't Want No Something" right over that is, and it's showing each trailer date, and then it gets slashed in half, and then it shows the next trailer date, and that gets slashed in half, and then there's a bunch of tweets that come up on the screens like "Whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop," and it's like, "Where's New Mutants? Like, why isn't it out yet? This is ridiculous." Blah, 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 blah. And then it just goes, "Coming to theaters August," and I'm just like, what? Why? Why not? Why is that not on Disney Plus? Like, that literally should have been, and it's out now. Like,
boom, go watch it right this second. That might have got some serious traction just because, right?
I think it'll make less money in the theaters than it would if they put it out for rentals.
Yeah.
Like digital streaming rentals. It doesn't have to go to Disney Plus. If for some reason that doesn't work for them, I would happily rent that movie, even though the beginning kind of looked a little bit like it's showing its budget. But I don't know. Did you guys catch any of the trailer or they showed like the first 10 minutes of it? Or 5 minutes?
I don't want to watch 10 minutes of a movie because then, you know, like that's almost too much for me. And again, for a movie that you've been getting snippets of for 3 years, I'm just ready I'm going to see this thing because my goodness, what a story, right? But I don't think you're going to sell me any more on it by showing me more, you know? If anything, it might be, oh, look at that. You redid Dark Phoenix and it looks awful. Now I don't want to see it. You know what I mean? Like it's almost less is more in this case, I think. So,
right. Well, in regards to the comment on the theaters, I don't know if you guys read as well. AMC has shortened the amount of time that a movie in theater would need to be in theater before it's released, like for rental and other places. It's now like down to like 3 weeks, like 17 days or something like that. It was like 3 months before.
Wow.
So them reaching that agreement means that you will see more movies that will, you know, bite the dust a little early and just hit head to rental. But you're right, like Nate, like the movies should start to kind of realize that they could, you know, especially at this time as things slowly start to open, not necessarily in the US, but like, you know, Tenet, I think was announced that it's going to be in IMAX in Canada before it's in the States. Like they're doing like an international.
Oh, thank goodness.
So like it's going to be in August, right? Because we're doing better.
Are they saying August now?
Yeah, so
I thought it was pushed even further, like indefinitely.
Well, I heard
or
indefinitely,
is that just in the States?
and then I read online that there was like a global release that was going to be happening, and then they were delaying the States. So, because my wife was like, "If this movie comes out, are you going to go see it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like she's like, "So you're just going to sit there and like wear a mask the entire time and like, you know?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like, if I'm going there with the purpose of seeing a movie and I don't have to bring anything or buy anything or just go there, I can do it. I can just walk in, sit down, watch this movie, get up, and leave. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, yeah, and I think they're still trying to figure out the logistics of it. And I know, you know, like the theaters want a bit more people than they've been mandated to be allowed so far. Not trying to push the limits, but I think I read somewhere that the original proposal from the government was they could have 50 people in the theater. And that's the whole building at a time, you know? And so, like, it almost doesn't seem worth it to be open at that point in terms of making money. I think what they need to do is look at extending the hours of the theater, Because, I mean, less people are at work, so you can run some earlier shows.
Sure. Yeah.
And you stagger the times so you don't have multiple movies worth of people waiting in the line for the concessions, waiting in the concourse. Yeah. Do more shows throughout the day with fewer people in each showing. I mean, I think there's ways to do it, and so it'll just be interesting if they're able to figure out something that's safe and yet still worth it for the theaters.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I mean, how much is popcorn going to be? $30 now.
Why are you buying popcorn? Who's going to buy popcorn?
I don't want to eat popcorn from those. No.
I'll take a bottle of water.
Corn? I'm good.
I'll take a bottle of water, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Was there anything else from Comic-Con that stood out, guys? Nate, anything else?
So I just wanted... Can I just quickly talk about 2 trailers that I saw that I thought were pretty cool? Which I don't know if you guys have seen them or anything, but the new trailer for his Dark Materials Season 2. Did you guys watch any of his Dark Materials?
I haven't checked that one out yet.
No, dude. It's honestly, it's the story and like the amount that they don't really hold your hand with it is very Game of Thrones-esque in the sense that like it doesn't over explain situations. You just kind of have to like go along with it and figure it out as you go along. It's pretty cool. So this one's going to be picking up right where it left off with our main character, Lyra, sort of journeying between different realms in the show. And I think the cool thing with this season, or at least what I'm getting from this trailer for those who have watched the show, is in the original season, like in the first season, it was very much a story about all the characters around Lyra. And in this new season, it's very much going to be like her on the run. So it's just going to really focus in on her. I think it's going to have a little bit like less of a sort of the first one was very much around like a group of people. This is going to just, I don't know, focus on her. And Andrew Scott is going to be in this one a lot more. And I love Andrew Scott. We've talked about how much we love Andrew Scott.
Absolutely. He's worth tuning into a show for just on his own.
Dude, you got to check out, even if you don't watch, well, no, you kind of have to watch the first season to understand what's going on. But watch it. It's good stuff, his Dark Materials. And then the other one, Kev, you mentioned that Marvel didn't drop any trailers. They did drop a trailer for something that I had no idea was a thing, and I didn't even understand it when I first saw the trailer. I had to kind of watch like an explainer video. But did you guys see the Hellstrom trailer?
No, that one slipped under my radar.
Dude, so Hellstrom is this comic book from Marvel, and it's a very supernatural character that apparently he's like the son of Satan. And this is coming out, like, I don't know if this is going to be on Disney Plus or where this, I think it's Hulu is where it's coming out to, so I don't know if it's going to work with the overall MCU, but it looks interesting to say the least. Like, he's got his sister who, her name is Anna, and in the comics she's known as Santana, and she's like a very, sort of, in the comics she's like a succubus that like steals people's energy through like their psychic powers, but in the show she's a lot more reserved and realistic. But dude, you got to watch this trailer because at the end of it, there's this woman who's their mom, and their mom is the one that she made babies with the devil, right? So if you check out this trailer, like this, she sounds horrifying. Like she sounds awful. And my theory for those who have seen the trailer and when you guys watch it is that she is actually going to have 2 personalities. So she's going to be the mom, but I think she's also going to be the dad as well, which is, she's possessed, right? So, dude, you got to check it out. It looks really freaky, and it's coming out in October. Hellstrom. Hellstrom. Right. It's coming out on Hulu, so we'll have to find a way to watch it. But it's going to be out in October, just in time for the spooky Halloween.
Well, there we go.
So
interesting. Yeah. So they did.
Anyways, I just want to chat those up.
They snuck one in there on us, eh? Interesting.
Yes.
Maybe not what anybody expected, but
Right, which is why I don't think it was really talked about too much. So you got to check it out.
Well, yeah,
right.
DC pulled out this year, and they're doing like their DC Con in August, like their own Warner Brothers
Fandom or something like that. Yeah.
Well, they did have the one panel, I think, right, with looking at Snyder's cut.
No, he just did.
Oh, yeah,
he just did that.
Oh yeah, that wasn't part of Comic-Con?
No, he called it Justice Con.
Okay. Well, and then the apparent reveal of the black Superman suit. So
yeah, which he just did in post apparently because he didn't allow him to shoot it and in black because they just didn't want it. And so he shot it, but he knew he would just change it in post. Okay. He also went on the record of saying that he would not use any of Joss Whedon's footage. He wouldn't use a single frame of anything that Joss Whedon shot. So that's fine.
That's crazy.
Well, that's going to be very interesting.
Dude, that's going to change the movie up. Like, I haven't even seen it, but like, I know that, like, how can you do that? Like, wasn't that a lot of that movie was Joss Whedon? Or
yeah, it's going to be different. That's
it's certainly going to be not your typical director's cut where it's just a director sort of working on his own piece. We're going to get a different movie now, I think,
which makes me want to watch it. Like, I don't know if that was like his PR angle or his marketing angle was to do that, but like, that makes me want to watch it.
The whole social movement is like a PR thing, right? Like, everyone's going to see this movie because of the fact that it started as this big thing on Twitter. It just blew up, and eventually they just gave in and said, "Hey, okay, let him do his cut," because enough people actually, like, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to check this movie out.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
I think so. But yeah, speaking of checking,
did you guys buy anything for any of the exclusive stuff? Oh. I bought a poster from Mondo. I bought the Star Wars Mondo poster. It was a timed release. They like had so many problems on their site. Like, it was crazy when it went live, because that poster was up all weekend. It was the one poster that was like all weekend you had the opportunity to grab. But they had a variant of that was like a metal, and it was like a green and red and blue, and it was so sick. And I wanted that, but as soon as it went live, it was gone. Like, it was literally like I was there waiting, and then it went live, and it just said sold out. And I was like, my Lord. And like, that kept happening over the weekend with a lot of their stuff. Funko had a whole bunch of problems.
Funko had a lot of issues.
Yeah, I tried to grab some stuff, and then I just gave up. I feel like I'll probably look to see if they either offer them for resale, like for like putting them back up, because apparently that's something that's already happening. Like Barnes and Nobles are going back up. Hot Topic, I think, are.
Dude, the only exclusive that I wanted, and it was impossible to get, like, it literally sold out in minutes. I hope they do a restock, but Entertainment Earth made a Dennis Nedry figure that comes in a Barbasol shaving can.
Oh, that's cool.
That when you turn it around, it reveals him in like a little window in the back, and it goes, you didn't say the magic words.
Oh boy, I want that.
It's so cool looking, and it's just him in his like frumpy shirt carrying his bag, and he's got his pie, and he's got a little Barbasol can. Dude, I wanted it so bad. That's the only thing. So I hope Entertainment Earth puts that back out on their site, because
I would love that for my collection. Ooh, interesting.
So dope.
Interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it does sound like a lot of people were disappointed. It even broke out into some fights that I saw in different chats and everything on Facebook. But speaking of fights, I think we should move into our topic of the show and get to Movie Kombat. What do we say, boys? We ready to lose a friendship here?
Oh, dude. I don't know who's going to give up on who for friendship, but we'll figure this out.
We'll see. All right, let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
I think it's time to pit two dear friends against each other in our latest edition of Movie Kombat. The Disney era of Star Wars has been met with equal parts praise and criticism from fans and critics alike. The Skywalker saga ended with a trilogy of movies that divided the fan base immensely. But that's not what we're here to discuss. No, today we're here to debate the merits of the other two Disney-era Star Wars films. Of course, I'm talking about the prequel films Rogue One and Solo. As a judge, it will be my job to remain as impartial as possible. Given that I enjoyed both films quite a bit, I will be going into the fight neutral towards both movies without a clear favorite. Fighting in the red corner today, and hoping to have a better fate than every single character in his movie, we will have Nate, who's fighting in support of Rogue One. And in the
I'm
blue
one
corner,
with the force is with me.
and in the blue corner, hoping to last longer than 12 parsecs, we will have J-Law fighting in support of Solo.
Yo, this Move Milker is going down, bro.
There we go. All right, the trash talk begins already. I love it. Who will come out on top, and who will wish they had arranged to have a CGI version of themselves take the fight instead?
Good,
dude.
Good
I bet Justin wishes he could last more than 12 parsecs.
All
right.
I told
now
you
you're
this
low
is going to get
blow,
ugly,
low blow
folks.
trash
I
talk.
love
Okay,
it.
all right. Let's go, Teeter Tot.
Now,
Let's see what you got.
just to bring the rules into play here, we will begin with an opening round, Sell It, where both competitors will have 3 uninterrupted minutes to defend their films. Round 2 will feature a back-and-forth, no-holds-bar free-for-all, Trash It, anything goes. And finally, Round 3 will give both competitors a chance to summarize their thoughts for one last argument in favor of their film. After which, I will determine which competitor presented the best arguments. The winner will not necessarily be which film I think is better, but which film was better fought for. Okay. Before we start, maybe a little look at the tail of the tape. Rouge One received a 7.8 audience score on IMDb. It received a 65 Metacritic score, an 84 Rotten Tomatoes score, brought in $530 million domestically and 1.056 billion worldwide. Yes. Solo received a 6.9 fan score on IMDb, a 62, so very close to Rouge One's Metacritic score, a 70% Rotten Tomatoes score, so it was certified fresh, but struggled at the box office, bringing in just 213 million domestically and 392 internationally.
You can thank Rian Johnson for that.
Oh,
yeah, your other favorite movie.
We're not talking about
your other favorite movie, you Moof Milker.
Now, I'm not sure how that might play into the arguments, but I thought it was interesting to note before we got started.
That's valid.
It is good to know which one, the general audience thinks is the worst, and also which one made the least money. So that's great to know.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Two arguments that are off of Nate's list already. Okay. Get going. Get going.
All right. Fighting first, out of the red corner, Nate, Sell It.
I'm one with the force is with me. All right, listen, Kevin. Rouge One, a Star Wars story, was released in 2016, directed by good old Gareth Edwards. This movie is a love letter to Star Wars fans. Let's be honest, it's the most Star Wars, and it's a fantastic exploration of what most people would overlook in some text flying up the screen at the beginning of A New Hope. It has no right to be as great as it is, with characters that by the end of the film, you're rooting for. You want to, even though their ending, you really want to see these characters through. Characters that Disney believes so much in that they're making more stories with them. This movie has the perfect blend of new Star Wars storytelling and old Star Wars visuals. It shows both sides of the war, giving us, both the good and the bad. We're seeing the war, that in war, there's really no good or bad guys, but rather two opposing forces fighting for what they believe in and, or what they're manipulated to believe in. So, in a sense, these themes and these characters, these are the richest themes and characters that we've seen in most of the saga, or Sega, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Now, highlights include small dialogue moments, like when Jin shoots, an Imperial K2 droid, and K2SO says, "Did you know that wasn't me?" Or, when Saw Gerrera's military group captures our heroes, and they put a bag on Chirrut's head, and he goes, "Are you serious? I'm blind." And it's fantastic, all right? We also have incredibly huge moments, like the escape off the planet after the entire Jeddah city is blown up. Like, we haven't ever gotten to see the Death Star used in that way. Or, what about the moment when the Hammerhead ship headbutts that Imperial Star Cruiser into the other one, breaking open that shield? Unbelievable moments that we haven't seen in any other Star Wars. And don't even get me started on that incredible horror movie scene with Darth Vader in that hallway. I mean, Kevin, come on. Does that not still haunt your dreams?
Coming out strong with a lot of really good points there in the first round, helping me recall a lot of the things that made the movie good. That was well done. Justin, it is now your turn to defend the movie about the galaxy's greatest rogue character.
The movie that nobody needed. Go ahead.
Says Rouge One. All right, anyways, let's get to this. Solo, a Star Wars story written by Lawrence Kasdan and Jonathan Kasdan and directed by Ron Howard, is a spin-off film of the adventures of Han Solo prior to the events of the original trilogy. And while some of what we see and learn isn't overly mesmerizing, we do see a young scoundrel earn his ranks and become one of the best pilots in the galaxy, while also seeing parts of his life that effectively influenced his character. One scene that really stood out to me was when Chewie and Han met for the first time. You had such a fun, charismatic, very natural feeling moment, and you laughed. You had fun with it. And I think that in itself was very symbolic to the sort of Star Wars nature of the story. Speaking of the cast, Chewie was actually very integral to the story of the film, which is in some ways different from how he's commonly seen in the other films. And while Ehrenreich didn't nail the voice of Han Solo, he nailed the mannerisms, the personality. He had that sort of cockiness to him that was just it just leaped off of the screen and into you, and it was fun. It made it so much more enjoyable. Overall, most of the characters were enjoyable, some were memorable and some were not, but they all in some way affected the storyline. Woody Harrelson as the mentor, Beckett. Johnny Favs as the Ardinian creature, Rio. You got Childish Gambino or Donald Glover doing an okay job as Lando. Still fun and charismatic, capturing that young persona of that character. Emilia Clarke as badass love interest to Han Solo. And I'll give you this, Paul Bettany playing a very forgettable villain. Again, not gold, but these were all characters that in some way contributed to the story and to the story of Han Solo. And speaking of story, we got Lawrence Kasdan behind it. Lawrence Kasdan, king of Star Wars, who knows what makes Star Wars. This is why this film feels so immensely Star Wars, because it has a sense of adventure behind it. And that is Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, boys, this is not going to be easy. I like it. Already coming with the big stuff. Already getting me going. Very, very back and forth first round there. I thought lots of excellent points were brought up. Now, I would like to move into round two. This is, again, an open mic forum. Try not to talk over each other, but a nice back and forth here is what we're looking for. Gentlemen, it's time to trash it.
Listen, I'm going to take this one here because, you mentioned all these wonderful characters, Justin, but obviously they were forgettable because you totally forgot one. And so, going into this and looking at Solo, it was okay. You forgot Val. That's all right. It's fine. Most of the characters in that movie forgot Val 3 seconds after she died. Because in the words of CEO Bob Iger, it was too much, too fast. There he's speaking about Star Wars in general releases, but it really plays to this movie. This movie underperformed so bad that a company that loves money decided that it was going to make less money because it was going to stop making these movies. It was like a bad roller coaster. It was too long. There were too many turns. And by the end of it, I just wanted to get off.
Sure, that's fair. I would also argue, though, that looking at Rogue One's pacing in itself, the film reads as a struggle in the sense that its pacing is a total mess. Within the first 10 or 15 minutes, you're shifted around so much into different planets, and then you settle into a story, and it's so boring. It's literally so boring up until they get to the idea of, okay, we got to get to Scarif to get the plans. And then it starts to accelerate. The movie is such a dry heave for the entire portion that, you're taking like 2 sentences in a crawl and you're trying to make a full film. It shows that they struggled with telling a story. And you brought up a quintessential moment, the Darth Vader scene, absolutely great, which was added after the fact. It wasn't even originally intended for the film. It saved that movie. It literally saved that movie and brought in the Star Wars element. So we can talk about production woes all we can, because we know that movie, your movie, was 60% shot with 40% reshoots.
Yeah, we're talking about the movie itself, though, not the reshoots, not the production. Look, ultimately, there were too many cool ideas crammed. There were too many cool ideas crammed into 2 hours of Solo: A Star Wars Story. You want to see a young Han and Kira live in the slums of Coruscant amongst an evil crime syndicate led by a giant slug monster? Cool. Here's 10 minutes of that. What about an incredible perspective where we can see Han Solo as an Imperial trooper in the army? That sounds awesome, right? Oh, cool. We're going to skip 3 years of that and show you the last 5 minutes of that. You want an awesome ragtag group of smugglers? Cool. They're dead and our main characters won't really mind. And there were so many story decisions that were thrown in there as if they literally grabbed a bunch of stuff that they thought that could be a Han Solo thing, threw it against a wall, and let it fall into a bowl of what that movie was.
Fair. Very fair. I think, though, that the other thing that stands out to me as being a real tragic point in Rogue One is leaning on an actor who was dead and recreating him in CGI and leveraging him for probably 30% of this movie when every time you watched it, it just took you out. Sure, the performances was good, and I would have much rather seen this actor with prosthetics rather than a CGI version that just reminded me I'm watching a movie and this person is actually dead, right? So apart from that, though, I also think that it's safe to say this movie shows in itself that it is worthless and meaningless to the canon of Star Wars because it devalues A New Hope. In A New Hope, we have the adventure of Luke, Han, Leia, and Chewie going and getting these blueprints back to the Rebellion, and the Rebellion discovering the Achilles heels to the Death Star. And the Empire doesn't anticipate that they would have enough power to actually bring their Death Star down, and inevitably, they do. This movie just kind of shows that whole story in A New Hope was meaningless. The real heroes are actually these heroes that, sacrificed themselves, I guess you could say. And, we got introduced some really cool aspects of these characters, and all of them just wiped, clean slate at the end. Really, at the end of the day, Luke, Han, and Leia, it wasn't their mission. They just contributed to a bigger mission. And the Achilles heels that was perceived as something that the Rebellion discovered amongst these blueprints. No, it was actually put there by the guy who was an engineer who felt bad for what he was doing, but he wanted to give the Rebellion some hope. Come on,
That's
fantastic. The movie itself devalues A New Hope and the story that it does.
You want to talk about devaluing things? Don't get me wrong. The portrayals of Han, Chewie, and of course Lando were way better than anyone expected them to be. I just wish you could say the same about the dialogue in this film, in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Do you want to know where Han Solo got his name? You want to know? Yeah, it was because he was traveling alone, and an Imperial officer that thought he was funnier than this movie, spoiler alert, he almost was. Some of the laziest writing that I've ever seen in these movies. Like, okay, Dryden Voss really doesn't want anyone to be able to track back to him. So what does he do? He sends his second in command with them. Why? Because a love story. That's why. Like, it honestly, or what about this? What about a droid that's, it's a sassy droid. Cool. Every Star Wars movie needs a sassy droid. And then she represents freedom. She leads a droid revolution. So then what do they do to save her life? They enslave her in the Millennium Falcon forever.
Sure.
Like, these are just decisions that are made by someone just sort of being like, yeah, okay, sure, do that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Brutal.
You called out some really some weak plot points in Solo, and I'm not necessarily saying that Solo is the best movie. I'm saying it's better than Rogue One because it didn't devalue it. At least look, prequels and the whole idea of a prequel is the journey. We know what the ending is. We know that it's Han and the ship. We know that it's the rebels get the plans to out and blah blah blah. We know where it goes, right? But with Solo, at least it was an adventure, and Rogue One was all about the ending. It was just about the ending. We knew about the ending. You know what I mean? And the journey to it wasn't as much about the journey as it was about them dying. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that in itself, the movie shows that it really served no purpose. And I think them injecting Darth Vader was them saying, we need to put something Star Wars in this.
I honestly think that I just think the same can be said for Solo in the sense of the fact that, you know what? Disney actually does want to make more stories.
It didn't devalue the character.
With these characters. They still want to make more stories with these characters. It did devalue Solo, I'm sorry, but I too get really upset with people, with fans that are like, this is not my Han Solo. Sure, whatever. They can write the story they want to write for them. But it's still pretty upsetting when you see these decisions made in terms of where Solo got his name, or decisions made around his backstory, or really lack thereof it. And honestly, Han Solo had so much potential, but it failed because simply based off of time. They just couldn't cram that much into that movie. And what should have been, a series on Disney Plus, honestly, is just a bad movie, and it ranks so low on my list of Star Wars movies.
Okay, well, speaking of bad jokes, why don't we finish on one for round 2? Boys, I'll let you go a little longer than we originally planned, because that was an excellent back and forth. I thought you guys played off each other really, really well there. That was good. You did get fired up.
I'm shaking, bro. I'm shaking. I want to leap through this screen and rip your head off.
Dude, I got all the lightsabers right at my feet right now. Let's go.
Bring it home. All right. I'll let Nate go first there.
Okay. So, listen. Again, I will reiterate a little bit. Han Solo was an okay movie. It had a ton of potential to be something great. And it should be a Disney Plus series. I would watch it. If they said, we're going to keep this story going and we're going to achieve some of these narratives to a greater scale, I would totally watch that. Alden Ehrenreich was great. Like it was a great cast, but the writing was just so haphazard and so fast and so just everywhere that you honestly blink and you're in a completely different time zone on a completely different planet. It did not follow a structure at all. Ultimately, with Rogue One, we have a movie that sets its very specific goals and attempts and masterfully achieves telling a fantastic story pulled from a few lines of text. It does this with only one misstep that I thought you would highlight, Justin. I thought you were going to bring up that Boar Gullet. But I'm
not petty.
Jump on the saber. I'm going to jump on the saber myself and bring up the one misstep that I think that Rogue One made. But I'm telling you, Judge Kevin, the writer, who I can only imagine appreciates the fantastic writing in this film as much as I do, that no matter what decision you make, when it comes to the battle between these two films, Rogue One.
Alrighty. Closing off well there, Just.
Okay.
2 or 3 minutes here to bring it home.
All right. You know what? At the end of the day, Kev, you said it best. Prequels are entirely unnecessary because we know what's going to happen. And if anything, both of these films in some way or another prove that spin-offs and prequels are completely unnecessary. However, in the case of Solo, while not everything might be perfect, and as Nate has already called out, much of it is true in terms of some of the narrative structures and poor writing and, characters that could be forgettable. Very true. But at least there was a sense of adventure to the story. At least you had fun. At least there was more humor. This was not something where the ending was the focus. The journey was what we were more intrigued to see. Yeah, the 12 parsecs through the Kessel Run was a little leh. His name was given to him, as Nate was saying. His blaster is literally just tossed to him. It's the idea of how we think some of these things could have happened that makes it far more interesting. But I have to say, Lawrence Kasdan stepping in, who pretty much defined 2 of the best Star Wars films, as a writer, writing a prequel for a character that I think means a lot to him, it showed in the writing and in the adventure that he took Han Solo on to get him to where he wanted to get him. When you think of something like Rogue One, it devalued A New Hope. It undermined an existing story. It took 2 lines out of a crawl and decided to stretch it to what I think is actually probably a 45-minute movie of actual entertainment, because everything else is a little, it's boring. You got some rush moments. You got some very, very interesting characters introduced and not necessarily explored. At the end of the day, we just watch them to die. Whereas at least with Solo, we watch them to live.
Okay. Sorry, I hope I didn't rush you there, I just didn't want you to have too much of an advantage of too much time at the end there. So I just wanted you to sort of wrap it up, which you did, so I appreciate that. I gotta say, that was a very, very back and forth fight here, gentlemen. That was well done.
Dude, I'm a little I know, Justin, what you were doing near the end there. You were playing to Kevin's. Anyways, go ahead, Kevin. You make
what? But it's
you maybe don't want to make assumptions about the person judging you here, there, Nate.
Go ahead, Kevin. I'm so sorry. Please, you're the best writer we've ever had. You're the only writer.
I got to say, you started off really hot out of the gate, Nate. You were really specific at highlighting things that you enjoyed about Rogue One and made me remember elements of the movie that I really enjoyed myself. And so I thought for the first round of sort of selling your movie, you did a wonderful job. And then I think Justin sort of bounced back really nicely in the second round. There's a couple things I never really considered about elements of Rogue One in terms of how it may devalue a little bit of what goes on in New Hope. I thought that was a kind of a fun take on people's issues with Rogue One that I'd never really thought about. Tarkin being in it as much as he was and not being executed as well as he should have been. That was a really weak point. So in terms of trash it, I think Justin's definitely going to have to get that round. And so I want to take all of your elements, not just your final rounds, but everything sort of combined to sort of give the winner here. I think there's some interesting points. Again, I think you guys did a better job of trashing the other movie than you did selling your own throughout the, which is kind of the point, right? We're in a fight here, not a, to say the Vader scene saved the movie, that is interesting. That is what you were sort of talking about as you left the theater after seeing that. Then to say that in Solo there was just too much going on to really focus on any of the characters and what they were doing to make those things important. So both really good points against each other there. I think where this was lost was when one of you said, I don't think it's a bad movie. I like the characters and would watch them in other things. I think that's what I'm going to have to go for as the sort of losing point. So, my final conclusion here is that Nate fought J-Law, but J-Law won.
Moose Milker!
That was tight, man. That was tight.
I just don't understand because it I'm sorry, Kevin. What are we getting more stories confirmed of Han Solo? No. We're getting more stories of Cassian Andor.
Oh, yeah, but my favorite kind. Prequel stories to a prequel.
Kevin, do me a favor,
what happens to the character.
Kevin, do me a favor. Justin, please name all the characters in Solo, please. Name all the characters. What was the Ardinian name? What was his name? Right? What was the name of the subgroup of tribal warriors that are in that? You don't remember because you don't have time to soak in those characters.
Well, it was a Solo movie, though, to be fair. And you said that the character playing Solo did it well. I mean, I don't think those other characters.
To be nice.
Well, then that was your mistake. Then maybe you tried too hard to be nice.
But I think it goes without saying though. Like both of these movies are fairly mediocre, but I do stand by what I mean when I say that at least there's an adventure and at least an idea of trying to build something to the character. Sure, Val, you're right. I missed Val. I actually liked her in the thing, but she was
one of the better characters. Yeah.
But like again, and this is my problem with this whole Star Wars prequel world is like you're introducing characters and killing them off, and it's like Beckett, Val, like that's going to be a comic book series. Or Kev, do you know the two Asian characters' name from Rogue One?
I'm terrible with character names.
See, Nate, he doesn't know their names either because they were forgettable, right? And like a spin-off series of friggin' what's his name? Cassian. The best part of that series is going to be K2SO, right? And I'd rather just see a show about him than Cassian and him because Cassian sucked. He was horrible. I would not have casted that guy.
I thought I didn't gravitate towards him as like a lead much. I don't think.
I felt like the ability to add characters that are dynamic in the sense that, they are good, they are evil, or, they are attuned to the Force, but they're not Jedi. You know, like finding these ways to kind of include these characters that are very two-sided in that way.
No.
And I don't think Solo had any characters that had anywhere near as much depth.
I would say though that
Rogue
you had
One.
fun though, and I think at the end of the day, when you think about a Star Wars movie, it's not a heist. We're at the suicide mission at the end. It's an adventure.
Yeah. But like, just to speak to the writing, just really quick. Listen, congratulations, Justin. I don't want to like keep this going forever and ever because I could. But just to kind of quickly touch upon just the writing, at least Rogue One was a consolidated single story that was, you know, for the most part, they had enjoyable moments, had a group of characters that actually had a lot of depth. The storyline was paced from beginning to end.
Nowhere.
And
they went nowhere.
But it did. It literally fixed an issue that happens, like the main problem in the Star Wars saga. Like, it literally fixed it.
But I don't even know if it did. I liked the idea better that it was just some random shaft that somebody smart figured out might cause a serious problem, rather than it being this elaborate booby trap that was placed there all along and what's sort of, you know,
I'm gonna do right by my Stardust, and I'm gonna put a hole here, and they're gonna find it, and they're gonna blow it up. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Dude,
just
that guy was.
It still needs somebody with the Force to be able to execute his very difficult plan. You know,
right. Yeah,
it wasn't the best secret little plot against the Empire that could have been done, and it almost led to a lot of people dying.
I like though that at the beginning though you called out like the stats, right? Because, you know, you mentioned the quote from Bob Iger, and yes, it was in reaction to the fact that, you know, within 6 months of The Last Jedi, you know, leaving theaters, Han Solo is now entering, you know, Solo, a Star Wars story, is entering, and it's really like oversaturated. That was their first thing. And The Last Jedi left fans very decisive and I think hesitant to want to see this movie. It scraped by 100%, but I think what hurt this movie was just oversaturation of Star Wars. Not that it was like a bad movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that
the whole movie is oversaturated.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
we can go back and forth
I'm
for
salty.
a while.
I'm salty.
Yeah,
I know.
Honestly,
congratulations, Justin.
That really could have gone either way, guys. It really.
I just felt like
we
we could have completed the trifecta here. And now, you know what? I'm the only one without a Movie Kombat win on this podcast.
All right, well, then that means, you know what that means, though? The next one that you do,
come back.
You got to be in it. So it might be you
Even
and Kev
stronger.
against another round.
Oh, man, go up against Kevin again. I'm a little afraid, but we can figure it out.
I'll be nicer next time, I promise.
Well, listen, I mean, definitely write in. Let Justin know he was wrong.
Or
Justin,
you can let Nate know. You can let Nate know that Rogue One is a real, like, unnecessary film. And you can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That is wearegeekcentric@gmail.com.
Yeah, make sure you use the tagline, Rogue One is better. Okay, go ahead.
There we go. And guys, if you enjoyed this episode or have an issue, again, write into us. But as always, please be sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Throw some stars our way. We'll be forever grateful. And I guess let's wrap her up. We are Geekcentric and you can be too, which means you can also check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. Our latest video featuring a lovely gift from Yumi Toys went live last week. Anyone listening that would like to see us give our spin on fun boxing videos with their products, please don't hesitate to reach out. So please help us out. Make sure to recommend not just this podcast, but the YouTube channel to friends, family, and even strangers on the street, as long as you do it while safely social distancing. You can also follow us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT and follow us on Instagram at We Are Geekcentric. And don't forget, Nate, we're still doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, bud?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, absolutely. We are going to be continuing doing some Ghost of Tsushima streams. I'm looking at some other games as well right now. Coming up a little bit later in August, the beta for the new Avengers game by Square Enix is going to be dropping. I am going to be in the beta, so I'll be streaming videos of myself, kicking butt as Iron Man or Kamala Khan. So definitely check that out. And and I've also been getting a little bit more into the Instagram game myself. If you check me out, Nate.playsgames on Instagram. I've been trying to post some retro video game stuff and some pictures of some pieces from my collection. So definitely check that out. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. twitch.tv/Nate Nate Plays Games.
So yeah, guys, go say hi, hang out, watch them play some fun games. There's nobody more enjoyable to do that with, in my opinion. Justin, Nate, thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. Hopefully there are no hard feelings after a very hard fought match. It was
a good battle though. We had our notes. We were prepared. You frazzled me. You frazzled me after the first round. You frazzled me after the first round.
Dude, very much like Han Solo, a Star Wars movie. You know, you said it scraped by. I think you did too. So congratulations.
Oh boy. Well, before we get heated
sore
again,
loser. He's butthurt.
He's butthurt. Sign off. But until next time, as we always say,
Rogue One is better. Love ya.
That's debatable. Stay home safe.
Actually, A Star Wars Story Solo is better, as deemed by Kevin. Peace.